Do you want to make any guesses? When I move my fat head, I think I already spoiled it. It went down, guys. I was going to say, are you going to guess if it went up or did it go down? It went down. And this is one of the most significant month-to-month drops that we've seen tracked on this chart. Now, what is this chart? And can I get out of the way? I'm melting. The magics of green screen. Well, a lot of you guys, if you've been following GPU prices over the last year or so, know that this is one of the best and most consistent ways of checking the trend prices. And by the way, I've got some other data too. So if you're like, is he just going to talk about this graph all day? Not just this one, but I love graphs. So we're going to talk about this one for at least a little bit. Anyway, what actually is this? Well, oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. So this is coming from 3dcenter.org, and they track GPU prices every month. Now, this is tracking, I believe, German and Austrian retailers. So this is not necessarily reflective of the entire world war market, of the entire world market, but it is reflective of a market, and they're all related, although not identical. Now we've got a whole bunch of colored lines here, and I love all the different color-coded lines and everything, although can we not get a light yellow on white, please? Anyway, the light yellow on white is Ethereum prices, and Ethereum prices tend to have a big impact on GPU prices. It's not the only thing, but when a GPU is basically a printing press for Ethereum currency, that is obviously going to have an impact on its price. Although we're finally getting closer and closer to proof of stake, although we've been saying that for over a year now. But I think that's finally mattering, because take a look at this. And if you can't see that little yellow line, let me just pop over to Google searching Ethereum value. If you look at right now, it looks like Ethereum price is spiking. And but this is over a 1-day graph. So let's zoom out over a 5-day graph. It's actually still trending down a bit. But if we go over a 1-month graph, right, we can see that it tanked a ton a little bit ago, and then it's been climbing back up, although came down a bit again. 6-month graph, where are we looking? We're actually down quite a bit from where we were, back around November, right? And if we go back all the way to zooming out over the course of a year, it's been better, it's been worse. But okay, here's the thing. The Ethereum price isn't everything, because the other issue is currency mining gets more difficult the more it has happened. They're solving a complex math problem that gets harder the more you do it, okay? So basically, even though Ethereum prices are maybe even with where they were back here, that doesn't mean the profitability of the graphics card is even with that. And with the looming date of the proof of stake maybe actually happening this time, once it goes to proof of stake, you're not mining Ethereum anymore. You could obviously mine other coins, and I think many people will, but those are, at least currently, less profitable than Ethereum. And also, as I said, the more GPUs mine those currencies, the harder they get to mine. So if you suddenly had massive amounts of computing power shift from mining Ethereum to mining those other coins, their difficulty level will also spike and their profitability will go down. Did I say profitability correctly? I feel like I missed some syllables in there. Okay, but nobody, not even me, even though I know everything, I don't know everything, guys, but can predict exactly what's going to happen. But all I'm saying here is there's a lot of reasons why it makes sense that the GPU prices are trending down as we're getting closer to proof of stake, where GPUs can no longer mine Ethereum. And even though the Ethereum prices have rallied a bit here, remember, it's still not anywhere near where it was back in November, and the mining algorithm's harder now, right? And we're getting closer to proof of stake. So when you're buying a new GPU for the purposes of mining, you have to take all that into consideration, and I think that that is a big part of why the prices are going down. Now, don't get me wrong here. I don't think that the even if Ethereum went to proof of stake, and let's say even if crypto mining completely disappeared, I do not think that these red and green lines are going to go to 100% anytime soon, which would mean selling at MSRP. I think it would take a while to trend down there, and not only that, I don't think it actually will, especially on NVIDIA cards. And the reason is, When a lot of those MSRPs were set, it was in a different world. We didn't have the crazy inflation that we've had, and there are actual components that are more expensive. So there's some actual real reasons why the cards will be more expensive. Plus, scalpers are a real thing, and scalping GPUs will exist even after they don't mine crypto, although I think they will continue to mine crypto. But if we took that out of the equation, you still have scalpers to deal with, and quite frankly, companies are just aware that a lot of people are willing to spend a lot of money on these right now. Which brings me to what do I think is going to happen in the future? So I think this will trend down, but like I said, not to MSRP. And then I think that as we get into the launch of the next generation of GPUs, we're going to see higher MSRPs across the board. A lot of what we've seen with, in my opinion, like the 3080 Ti, especially with that $1,200 MSRP compared to the RTX 3080, which theoretically had a $700 MSRP, even though the performance between those two are not that far off. I think that was NVIDIA realizing, oh, we can just charge whatever we want for these things and people will pay it. We were not extracting enough money from our customer base with those price points. And so what I would expect to see from like the 4000 series of NVIDIA cards is MSRPs that are kind of pre-scalped, at least especially at the high end. The low end, I think, will get better than it is currently, at least. And we'll talk about that in a second. I would expect the 4080 to have a list price of at least $1,000. That's what I would expect. And then I would expect their highest end card, whether that's a 4090 or some kind of Titan class card, to MSRP at $2,000. And then that would leave room for some kind of 4080 Ti or something like that to fall in between at least the $1,500 mark. And like I said, scalpers could then drive those prices higher, even if crypto mining doesn't. Now, as we go down from there, I wouldn't be surprised to see 70 class cards, maybe $600 or $700, probably closer to $700 for the 70 class card, and giving you that $700 to $1,000 range to leave room for your 3070 Ti or something like that. And then I would expect, your 60 class cards to be more in the $500 ballpark. And I'm talking MSRPs as opposed to the imaginary $329 MSRP that we've seen on the 3060. I really think it's going to be that bad even at MSRP, guys. I think the MSRPs are going to get worse because of inflation, and NVIDIA just knows they can charge that. Speaking of which, let's get into, if you do have to buy a GPU right now, what should you buy? And am I actually seeing prices coming down in like the United States? Well, check this out. As people who follow my channel regularly, and by the way, I almost never talk about subscribers and like and subscribe and all that, but I just passed 20,000 subscribers last night, guys. And I've been doing this channel for just a little bit over a year. It's just insane to me that I've got 20,000 of you who are actually interested in the channel. Thank you so much. Anyway, if you have been following my channel for a while, I have been preaching that the only GPU that makes any sense in the current market right now, if you just want to build a reasonably priced but very capable gaming system, is the RX 6600, which for the last month, and this has improved over the previous month, it has been sitting in stock at Newegg at less than $500. And I have absolutely noticed this downward trend in its price, just like 3D Center noticed in the German retailers with all of these cards. The 6600 is currently this morning sitting in stock at $440. Now that's still $100 over MSRP, but the other way of looking at that is that's only $100, okay, $110 over MSRP, which, in the current market is a heck of a deal. And the RX 6600, I benchmark this all the time on my channel in a whole bunch of new games. And this thing for 1080p gaming absolutely gets the job done. Just don't even consider ray tracing, okay? But this thing absolutely gets the job done. And like I said, at the beginning of this month, like 1 month ago, these were hard to find at less than $500. You could do it, but they'd sell out pretty quickly. And now I'm seeing them I started seeing them consistently sit in stock at 470. Then I saw them sitting in stock at 460, then at 450, and now I'm seeing it sitting in stock at 440. This thing is coming down, and if you want my recommendation for if you just want to buy a gaming PC right now and not absolutely break the bank or upgrade from a really old GPU, this is it. The 6600, if you're doing 1080p gaming, is the way to go absolutely right now. And by the way, it's about double the performance of a GTX 1060. I have some head-to-head benchmarks on my channel. And so if you're sitting on something like a 1060 right now, I'd highly recommend selling it while used prices are still inflated and picking up one of these. It's a better card. And you won't miss ray tracing or DLSS because you never even had it. Okay, now why not buy an NVIDIA card? I mean, isn't the RTX 3060 a better card? Well, this is where I haven't seen as much improvement in performance. If I search for RTX cards on Newegg, for example, and search by lowest price, the RTX 3050 is actually currently costing more than an RX 6600, okay? And the RX 6600 is just flat out a better card. You would need DLSS just to catch up to the performance of the 6600 at native. And you're not really going to need the DLSS at native on a 6600 because you can pretty much max out games, maybe every now and then tweak the shadows down to high instead of ultra or something, and lock in 60 FPS or above on any of the latest titles. I've tested them all, again, without ray tracing, although honestly the 3050 is not going to be great at ray tracing anyway. And as you scroll down, honestly, you're having to buy like 2060s and things like that anywhere near this price range. The 3060s that sit in stock, I mean, I'm going to have to scroll really far down to find a 3060 sitting in stock on Newegg. It's not even showing up on this first page, and we're getting into the $600+ range. Now I'm hitting the sponsored stuff, but yeah, it's just yuck. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, hunt for deals or something. Well, let's actually, since I'm on Newegg, look at the Newegg Shuffle. So the Newegg Shuffle is theoretically trying to get you more like the actual list prices of things. And the cheapest thing available in today's Newegg Shuffle, it's a sample size of 1, but today's Newegg Shuffle is an RTX 3060 for $500. And again, that's where I'm saying I think that our 4060, our 60 class cards for the 400 series, I honestly expect them to MSRP around this level because that's what the 3060s sell for, is in this $400 to $500 range, and usually closer to the $500 range. And I mean sell for that when they're not being scalped. Scalped by the manufacturer, I suppose, right? But I don't see that going away as long as they're able to sell out. Maybe a massive influx of used GPUs could help out the market. But look, guys, that's the cheapest one. And then you've got these bundle deals. We got a 3060 Ti. And again, this is theoretically your not scalped version that you have to win the Newegg lottery just to get your hands on for $610. And on the normal market, a 3060 Ti is much closer to $800 or $850 if you actually want to find one sitting in stock for any reasonable amount of time so that a human can actually grab one. So I guess what I'm getting at here to wrap up the video is, yes, prices are getting better, but they still suck, especially for NVIDIA cards. If you're just trying to get entry-level 1080p gaming, you can do it, and the prices are getting better, and the 6600, I think, is our, shining beacon of less of a bad deal than everything else in the world right now. What do you guys think? Let me know, and have an excellent day.